This episode of Dueling Ogres is brought to you by Audible. Click the banner or link in the description below for a 30-day trial with a free audiobook. After your trial, Audible is just $14.95 per month with an additional free audiobook each month. Prepare yourselves for a battle of epic proportions between two titans. Feast upon their voices and revel in their words. This is Dueling Ogres.
Hello, Ogres, and welcome to episode 164. Thank you for joining us, as always, on this Hakuna Matata Tuesday evening, Earth date, August 28th, 2018. I'm your host, Remington Hitchcock, and we're back to August. That was another thing, apparently, that I did.
What did you do?
Apparently, when I said the date, I said it was October. Don't
Weird.
know. Well, it was the geriatric thing kicking in.
Oh.
Yeah.
What is it, October?
I forget days. But yes, it is August 28th. See, now my voice is cracking.
Yeah.
What
August.
What is happening?
It's August.
It's August. August 28th, 2018. I'm your host, Remington Hitchcock. And with me, as always, is my co-host, Timon.
Remington, it is a goddamn pleasure to be here with you today.
Thank you, Nathan Lane. It's a pleasure to have you.
Nathan Lane. I'm just in from Hollywood.
And boy, are my arms tired.
I can't do a Nathan Lane.
You just have to be flamboyant.
I'm Nathan Lane.
There you go. He's just like a little more male sounding Linda from Bob's Burgers.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty much spot on.
I mean, I know Nathan Lane from singing. I just don't know Nathan Lane from talking.
You don't have to. He sings all the time.
Really?
Constant singing.
I get him and the gay fat guy from Modern Family confused because they both are big singers and very flamboyant.
Yeah.
I've never seen an episode of Modern Family. I just know the gay guy from it.
I don't think I've ever seen Modern Family either, so.
Is Nathan Lane gay?
Yes.
He is?
Pretty sure.
Are you sure, or are you just
I'm
assuming
sure.
because he's flamboyant?
No, I'm pretty sure he's gay. Okay, Google. Is Nathan Lane homosexual?
Okay, Google. Is Nathan Lane homosexual? Boy, fucking technology, huh? Computer, tell me if actor is gay.
Yeah. He told his mother he was gay at the age of 21, to which she responded, "I would rather you were dead." And he replied, "I knew you'd understand." Wow.
Wow.
But he came out publicly after the death of Matthew Shepard and has been a longtime board member of and fundraiser for Broadway Cares / Equity Fights AIDS.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
So
yes,
the robot has informed us that, yes, Nathan Lane is gay.
Yes, he is indeed homosexual. Yeah, anyway. It seemed like an obvious question, you know?
Yeah.
So I didn't want to go into and just like my heart of hearts told me that he was gay.
Yeah.
And I was pretty sure that I had heard that he was gay. But you want to check your facts.
Well, yeah, because what kind of people does it make us if we just assume that he's gay because he's flamboyant?
Just because he's flamboyant. He could just be very metrosexual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back before metrosexuality was cool.
Yeah.
When he was voicing that sweet, sexy meerkat.
Yeah. Got weird.
One of my first furry crushes.
I thought that was Don Carnage.
It was a mix of the two. Don Carnage and Timon. I like a little bad boy. You got a little chocolate in my peanut butter. You got a little Timon in my Don.
This is a really weird way to start off an episode, Brandon.
Yeah, we haven't even done to what we've been up to yet.
No, we haven't. I don't.
So should we just end the episode then?
Yeah.
I feel like we've pretty much covered all the bases. We've been offensive.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Accidentally, but kind of we were offensive.
Yeah, a little bit.
We've talked to Google.
Uh-huh. We did that. That's a thing.
I made a comment about wanting to fuck a furry.
Yeah,
which
topical
is
humor.
Every episode. Topical humor, yeah.
Uh-huh.
And space news, the sun is still pretty warm.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
mighty hot out.
Till next week, Ogres.
Keep your clubs blunt and your dust sharp.
Good night, Areno.
Yeah. We're not ending the episode there. What have you been up to, Brandon?
Nothing. I've been working.
I
played Starfinder again.
Oh, did you?
Mm-hmm.
How'd that go? Tell us all in podcast land about your escapades in the Starfinder universe. My brain shut off for a hot second.
In the Star.
I was like, wait, were we talking about Starfinder or were we talking about Pathfinder?
Starfinder,
yes. Okay.
I am doing Pathfinder too.
Oh.
Yes.
The plot thickens.
Pathfinder TWO 2.
TWO 2, okay.
Comma TOO.
Okay.
Pathfinder 2 as well. Okay. So
okay. What is happening?
Try to find that word path. So I played Starfinder at the local comic book shop. Starfinder, for the uninitiated, is a sci-fi version of a role-playing game, a pen and paper role-playing game.
Yes.
I played it once before, so this was my second time playing it.
And this is essentially based off of the Pathfinder rule set, right?
Mostly, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they're going to obviously have to change some things because #space. But
yeah, it diverges a lot in some of the specific rules.
Yeah.
When you get down to it, but the framework's the same.
Okay.
This was an all Skittermander adventure. Skittermanders are these small teddy bear-like 6-armed creatures that are like 3 feet tall.
Say that again?
They are like these teddy bear style creatures.
Okay.
6 arms, 3 feet tall.
I have the most adorable image in my head, and yet it has teeth.
It has very sharp teeth.
Okay, then I think I'm spot on.
Let me Google you a picture.
Okay, you Google a picture, and I will pop off and see what in the hell I did with my smoke stick.
Okay, so here's an image of what they look like.
Oh.
That is a youngling.
Oh,
whenever they're whelps, they have like an alien growing out of their stomach that's like an umbilical cord, and they attach themselves like a parasite to bigger creatures and feed until they get big enough, and then the umbilical cord falls off.
Oh. Weird. And here it is wielding a weapon.
Yeah, they're an intelligent species.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
So the campaign that I did worked in Starfinder Society, meaning even though I was playing a different character than the Starfinder character I originally made,
yeah,
I still got the points for it. This still counted as my second play session. And every 3 sessions you play, you level up your character.
Right.
So even though I was playing a Skittermander and not my character I made originally, it still counted as a play session for that character.
Okay, so why did you not play your character and you played a Skittermander instead?
This module was specifically made to be a group of Skittermanders.
Oh, okay.
So it was a one-shot that was built around the fact that every member of the party was a Skittermander. Each one of them had a background written for them.
Ah, okay. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
I'm picking up what you're putting down, Remington.
Good.
I'm putting down what you're picking up.
Are you? Because I don't know if I'm picking up or putting down anything.
I feel like I'm putting things down, which you are then picking up.
You were probably correct in that assumption that you are putting things down and I am picking up said things.
Yes. So I had a blast playing Starfinder. My older brother was the one who DM'd it.
Yeah.
I've only played a couple of times where he's
DM'd
this is
stuff. The one where you were telling me last week that you were going to play with your brother?
Kind of.
Okay.
I'm also playing Pathfinder 2 with him.
Oh, okay.
Pathfinder 2.
Wait, was your brother at the shop?
Yes. My brother was at the shop to run this one shot.
Okay.
And then every week I'm going to his house to play Pathfinder 2.
So now we get into the Pathfinder bit.
Yes.
Okay.
Which I know very little about, so I can't really expound on it. Pathfinder 2 is the sequel to Pathfinder, obviously.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Shit.
Just
Brandon,
blew people's minds.
You are just dropping balls left and right here. You are dropping balls faster than a
dropping balls?
Big ball machine.
Oh, yeah. Those classic Connect big ball machines we all know about.
I built that when I was a kid. I still have all the Connect pieces from it.
You are great at words, Remington.
Thank you, Brandon.
But the rules for Pathfinder 2 are online for free.
Okay.
You can download all the PDFs. The book itself is like 300 some pages.
Right.
And that's where I have a hard time getting into it. I've mentioned before, I hate using PDFs for books.
Right.
It's hard for me to read anything consistently on PDF. So I'm supposed to have made a character. I haven't actually made a character yet. I'm just going to show up on Thursday and be like, make me character. Me no understand.
To be fair, I have not made my 5e character yet.
Yeah.
I brought the book with me to work on Monday to look through it. Work has been trying my patience. I really don't have a problem with work being difficult, or sometimes, things shit hitting the fan and you having to do the things to make it right. But when you're faced with circumstances that could have been answered far long ago if somebody would have just listened to you,
yeah,
then you'd be in a better space. That kind of stuff really just turns me off to anything.
So that's what you've been dealing with, is some work bullshit, right?
Yes. Yeah. And I have very little patience for that kind of fuckery.
Yeah, I know you kind of have to speak in vagaries as far as...
Yeah. Like, I don't want to point any fingers or say any names. Just know that it's fuckery. Fuckery at its finest. So yeah, that's what I've been dealing with. And it's been a couple of weeks of this now.
Of just fuckery?
Of just fuckery. Latent fuckery.
As you say this, you're flipping a knife in and out.
Yeah.
Which is a little disconcerting.
Yeah, I'm thinking about...
Stabbing somebody?
Stabbing things. Not you.
Yeah, I'm not concerned that you're going to stab me.
That's fortunate.
I'm Brandon.
Yeah.
I'm adorable.
Yeah.
God damn it. I'm adorable.
Damn it, I'm Brandon and I'm adorable.
Nobody wants to stab me.
No. Ding.
So I wanted to tell this last week, but I forgot about it. It's just a very quick anecdote. At my apartment, I have mailboxes.
Yes.
And the mailboxes aren't on each apartment door.
Okay.
It's the kind where the mailboxes are sitting on the street.
Yeah.
And imagine that it's like 2 wooden poles standing straight up with 2 wooden poles connecting between them. And then the mailboxes are all sitting on those wooden poles.
Right.
So you've just got them. And they're the most rusty ass disgusting. I've mentioned before that my apartment is not the most high grade apartment place.
Right. Yeah.
So they're rusty and falling apart, and half of them are missing their doors. Mine still had my door.
Okay.
So
your mailbox.
My mailbox was one of the few mailboxes that still had its door.
Right.
It has my apartment number on the door of the mailbox.
Right.
So score for me. So I get my mail there. Somebody stole my door and put it on their mailbox, but it still had my number on it. So the only thing that did was make it so my mail moved to their mailbox, because the postman puts my mail in the apartment number that corresponds to where I live.
Yeah.
So somebody took the time to say, you know what? Fuck this guy. I'm taking his mailbox door and putting it on my mailbox, but I'm not going to take the time to mark out the number or use a big Sharpie to redraw the number that's on there. So all it did was shuffle where we get our mail now. Is that not the stupidest thing you've ever heard of?
Yeah, that's right up there with stupid things. And I just read an article of 24 things that stupid people said very seriously, expecting an answer to. That's right up there with those.
Well, and the person who stole it was on the same, because there's 2 spots for mailboxes, depending on which side of the apartment building you're on.
Uh-huh.
So the left side is on the left side of the parking lot. The right side's on the right side of the parking lot.
Yeah.
The person who stole my door is in the same group of mailboxes as me.
Yeah.
So my mailbox, where I did have the door, and the mailbox that they put the door on is a range of like 5 inches. They're almost touching. That's how close they are. So they didn't take the door somewhere else. They took the door where I could clearly see that they just stole my door. And on my side of the apartment,
This is a whole host of stupid.
there's 8 apartment buildings on my right side of the apartment.
Yeah.
Only 3 apartments are occupied right now. So it was one of 2 fucking people who did it.
Oh, the more you give, the more I get, the more joy I get.
I mean, and I can't confront them, right? Like, I'm not a confrontational person anyway.
I mean,
I guess I could try to figure out whose mailbox it was originally and be like, hey, why'd you steal my door?
you could, but if you point out any of the fallacies in their logic, they're just going to take your numbers off and then they'll have your door.
Yeah.
So
I do like having a door.
yeah, I would just take the door off and put it back, or just not, and just continue getting your mail from the new mailbox.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's...
Yeah, and if one of them comes out one day and says, hey, why are you stealing my mail from my mailbox? You just point at it and go, that's my apartment number. This is my mail. I'm Brandon Full. So whatever ill-conceived plan you had about putting a door on your mailbox failed miserably because you don't know how numbers work.
Well, can't you buy a mailbox? Like, couldn't I
Yeah.
go and buy a mailbox and replace my shitty mailbox with a nice one?
Probably, yeah. Of course, somebody would steal it, but
Yeah, really, they would.
at this point, you have already established that the people in your apartment complex are less than trustworthy. I wouldn't buy a nice one. I would buy a shitty one. Oh, no. Buy a really nice one, but then weather it yourself like it looks like garbage.
Okay.
Or
So why
make
not
it
just
look
buy a
like
garbage one?
actual garbage.
Oh, so it looks like a trash bag or something?
Yeah.
And when they open the door, Oscar the Grouch's mouth is there and he takes the trash?
Or
Or
the
he
mail.
takes the mail, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
interchangeable because it's a trash can.
Yeah, exactly. And then you can wait for the mailman to come and be like, hey, I did this thing. It's a pretty cool mailbox. You'll appreciate it.
And he'll just go, here's your mail, sir.
Yeah.
Do you know how busy I am? I'm a mailman.
Do you know how many houses I have to go to?
Do you know how knee deep I am in women all the time?
Constant.
I'm a mailman. You think I have time for your shit?
I've got hundreds and hundreds of unsatisfied housewives to visit today. Man, mail carrying is one of the most glorious and underrated jobs there are.
Aren't mailmen... The job is supposed to be like mind-numbing, though, working in the actual office.
Oh, I'm sure. Probably.
But yeah, they always look like they're having so much fun when they're trudging around.
I like to call those people outdoorsy types.
Uh-huh.
I don't know, man. I've seen some pretty grumpy mailmen sometimes, too.
But they have great calves.
They do. They all have great calves. Of course, I have great calves. I don't want to brag or anything, but check out these calves.
Oh, you're going to show me the calves, huh?
I am.
Those are nice calves.
It's a pretty good calf right there.
It's a solid calf, yeah.
Yeah, it is. Has to be solid when you're carrying 285 pounds.
You're not even a mailman.
No, I'm not. I'm just a fat guy.
I like how you dropped your new
Oh,
thinner
my,
guy weight,
my
too.
thinner guy weight. I'm no longer 320 pounds. I'm 285, but I've stagnated and haven't dropped anything past that.
That's a pretty impressive amount of weight loss. That's what, 40 pounds? 45 pounds, somewhere in there? 285 to 325?
320
Yeah.
to 285.
So 35 pounds?
Yeah. 35 to 40 pounds is what I've lost. Sometimes I get down to 280. But yeah, I'm definitely proud of it, like we have discussed in the past. But yeah, I have stagnated, and it's partially because I'm not doing it as hard as I was before, but also partially just I've been stress eating.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I've been drinking a lot of diet soda instead of water.
Mm-hmm.
Primarily diet soda. And the problem with that is, aside from all of the bullshit like, oh, it gives you MS or whatever, garbage, that's not true. Don't want to stir the pot here, but it's not. Anyway, what it does do is make you crave actual sugars.
Yeah.
So I do tend to eat more sweets than I used to, because I was never a big sweets eater. Like, I'd have one piece of cake or a piece of pie or a brownie, and I was good. Now I can eat like a whole lot of pieces of cakes and or brownies and pies.
A whole lot of pieces of brownies.
Yeah. But to be fair, it's still considerably less sugar than I was intaking when I was just drinking soda. So,
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
like by leaps and bounds.
I mean, you were killing like a 2 liter of Code Red sometimes too.
Yeah, per day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a considerable amount of sugar you're taking in.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I try to just do diet soda also. I had a Mellow Yellow today. Occasionally I'll get a regular soda.
Yeah, I have been occasionally getting a regular soda here and there, maybe one a week.
I try to factor it into my caloric intake. I try to be like, okay, I don't count the sugar.
Yeah.
Which I probably should in some way, but I just count the calories itself.
Well, your total calories are kind
calories.
Of an extension of that. Like it's taking everything that's in that drink to account.
Yeah.
I haven't been really counting my calories like I was. I was really diligent about counting my calories. Now I kind of have an idea of all the things that I have been eating, so I really haven't been writing it down.
Yeah, well, I mean, you were counting calories long enough that you kind of got.
Yeah, I have a rough idea of what I'm intaking. Like I know that if we order Domino's like we did last night,
you're taking in 8,000 calories.
Yeah, I'm getting the better part of my caloric intake for the day.
Yeah,
it's like 1,500 calories or something like that.
For like a piece of pizza?
No, a piece of pizza is like I think it was like 300 calories, depending on what you get.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you eat half a pizza and you're definitely at your like 1,500 calories for the day or what have you.
I picked up push-up bars from the dollar store.
That sounds unsafe.
I feel unsafe when I use them. It's not like a full bar. It's like one for each hand. So you adjust them to wherever you're going to actually be doing push-ups.
Okay.
But it's just like a big coiled piece of metal with like a very shitty cushioned hand part.
Right, yeah. So what are these? Are they just, you set them on the floor and you push up with them?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but you can adjust them to like be really up close or really far away.
Yeah.
You can use them backwards.
Yeah.
They're just basically something to get your hands off the floor, and because you're gripping them, it's helping with your arm strength too.
Okay.
So I've been using those and realized how fucking out of shape I still am.
Right.
Like I walk pretty much every night, and that's not bad. I'm not really losing weight because I'm not watching my calories, and I'm just more walking just to be out and get the melatonin.
Right.
Or not melatonin, serotonin.
Serotonin, yeah. Melatonin makes you sleepy.
Yeah. Get the serotonin and the vitamin D from the sunshine. But yeah, I did 10 push-ups and was like, oh, God.
Oh, God, yeah. I completely understand. I like how this turned into Dueling Ogres fitness time.
Yeah, that's all it is now. Sorry, if you came in for news stories, you're out of luck.
That's right. The last really good walk that I did, I was also in between 1,000 steps. I was doing some inclined push-ups on the desk and like leg lifts as well. I would alternate between the two. By the end of that, I was pretty sore up. Tore up and sore up.
Tore up from the sore up.
Yeah, I think I probably did, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 sets of 10.
Oh, wow.
So I think that's all I was able to squeeze out was maybe 5 or 6. It's been a couple of weeks now, actually, so still been doing the walking, though. I'm pretty consistent at getting 10,000 steps in on most days that I work. If I mow the grass, I get my 10,000 steps in for that day, too, so. But, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's just, I'm maintaining at the moment.
Well, I know that once you get to a certain weight, like the size that you were, weight wants to come off your body.
Yeah, exactly.
So the more when you exercise and you stop drinking sugar, your body's like, finally we can get rid of some of this.
Yeah.
But then you hit a point where like your average person who was just overweight, because I mean, I'm not trying to be mean, you're a pretty overweight guy.
It's clinically obese, and it's okay to say, Brandon.
Well, I give you shit for it, but I still want to dance around the fact to be like, you were pretty fucking big, man.
You don't have to dance around it, Brandon. Have I ever been really sensitive about my weight?
Well, we've kind of talked about how you were more sensitive about it than what we thought originally, like in high school and stuff, with us mocking you for it.
No, it was never really the weight that bothered me. It was some of the other things.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, you're right. I just remembered one specific one we used to make all the time that really bugged you.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it, listeners, so forget about it. But yeah, you hit a certain point where now you're just a regular kind of overweight guy.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still obese. I'm still morbidly obese.
Well, yeah, but I mean, morbidly obese is such a broad term, too. If you go by, like, the BMI scale,
Are you calling me broad?
I'm calling you a broad, which means I want to slap you on the bottom, especially doing those leg lifts. Bap. Right on the can.
Wow.
Right on the can, you broad.
Wow.
Yeah, baby.
Huh. Well, ladies,
What a-
now I know what it feels like.
Yeah.
This is awkward and uncomfortable.
You're looking good, baby. Snap my suspenders.
Wiggle your cigar at me.
Ha-cha-cha.
Jesus.
All right. Do you want to get into some stories
Yes,
at this
please.
point? Or
Please, can we?
do you want main big story or you want little stories first?
Float me whatever you feel like talking about, Brandon Full.
Remington, this is a story from National Geographic. Do you like 15-year-old girls?
Feels like this is a loaded question, Brandon.
Because an ancient 15-year-old girl was found
Okay.
who lived 90,000 years ago.
Wow.
And she is the first definitive evidence of interbreeding between two human species.
Oh, between like
Neanderthals and their cousins, the Denisovans.
Okay.
She is a first generation. Like, they've known for a while that these things have interbred, but they found a flake of her bone, and she is first generation, the child of a Neanderthal parent and a Denisovan parent.
Wow. That's really cool.
Yep, it was discovered by paleogeneticist Vivian Sloan, who's a postdoc at Max Planck Institute in Leipzig.
Leipzig.
And the Denisovans are from the Denisovan Cave of Siberia's Altai Mountains. And the Denisovans lived 390,000 years ago.
What was that again?
390,000 years ago.
Okay.
So I'm not sure how they lived 390,000 years ago and this girl lived only 90,000 years ago, unless the Denisovans were around for a very long time.
Well, I guess it would have to be.
Yeah, I guess kind of process of elimination there, they would have to be.
Yeah.
And the only traces of the Denisovans, the only evidence they have that this offshoot of Neanderthals even exist, come from 3 teeth and a pinky.
Wow.
From 4 individuals found in the same cave. The Denisovans have only been found in this one cave in Siberia.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
No, I mean, not just that. There's a lot of things that's crazy about that. So somebody was exploring and found humanoid remains in a cave in Siberia, and they just happened to be an offshoot of man, and these are the only ones they've ever found.
And they were digging in a cave and found teeth. That's what they were. 3 teeth and a pinky.
Yeah. Damn, that's weird.
The flake of bone from this girl is literally a flake of bone, no thicker, or it's no longer than the width of a quarter.
It's no longer than the width of a quarter.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
So it is a tiny, minuscule flake of bone.
Okay. So is that all they found of her remains? Is that what you're telling me?
Yes. That's all they found of this girl. But from this tiny little flake of bone,
they have found out that she is a girl.
That she is a girl.
And that she was a interbred between the Neanderthal and
Denisovan. Yes.
Okay.
And was a first generation. The first generation
Jesus.
is what makes it such a big deal. Because they found like, okay, this person has Neanderthal DNA and a little bit of Denisovan DNA somewhere in there.
Yeah.
This is the first time they found a complete 50-50 split.
Wow.
So they've known that they interbreed. They just didn't have definitive evidence that they did until now.
There's a lot going on in this story.
Yeah, I know.
Like, that was a lot to process.
Yeah, this story really caught my imagination.
Huh. That's really cool. So, I mean, is there any other news about it, or is that just the
That's
big
just,
piece?
this was discovered like 3 or 4 days ago.
Nice.
So this is pretty breaking news.
That's cool. That's
But
very
yeah,
cool.
I didn't really have a whole lot with it. I brought it. I've got a lot of notes just for what amounts to a very short story.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just found it interesting though.
No, that was a great story. That's really interesting. So, little shard of bone, find out that it's a girl, find out that girl is a 50-50 split between Neanderthals, and I keep wanting to call them Dionysons. I know that's not right.
Denisovans.
Denisovans. Huh. That's really
From
cool.
the Denisova Cave.
From the Denisova Cave, which was a tiny little cave. Well, which was I imagine a remote cave in Siberia.
Yeah. And
Crazy.
here's one more little thing.
Sorry for recapping a lot. It's just kind of hard for me to wrap my brain.
It's a lot of information I compressed into like 2 paragraphs.
Yeah.
The flake of bone was written off as not a flake of a human remain.
Uh-huh.
So in this cave, they found just like a shit ton of animal remains. So they just take any bones from animals, from bats and food, things because they've known that the Denisovans have lived in this cave.
Yeah.
They found their remains. So they know that they lived there. Probably more of them are in there somewhere. Their remains are buried.
Yeah.
So this flake of bone was just thrown in with all of the other presumably animal bones.
Uh-huh.
And Vivian Sloan just happened to be cataloging these animal bones when she came across this fragment.
Ah, okay.
So it's not even like it was instantly recognized, like, hey, this is probably from a human. We should check this out.
Right, yeah. It was
This
just a
was
shard of
she
bone.
was doing just probably boring scientific work
broad
of like
spectrum,
bat.
Huh. That's crazy. But this was in that cave.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so it's weird the circumstances that just the coincidences that surround us, you know?
How so?
The coincidence that she would happen to be going through this pile and, you know, find this very small fleck of bone.
Yeah, it could have been anybody.
Yeah.
It could have been anybody on that team that was cataloging that.
Well, and not just that, but the coincidence that they found this. I mean, I know that as archaeologists, they're pretty meticulous with what they do.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. It just seems like a very big discovery to kind of just be happened upon.
Yeah. Well, I feel like that's some of the best discoveries are ones that are just happened upon.
Yeah.
No.
Well,
that's cool.
I feel like if the people who were in that were listening right now, they might take umbrage with the fact that I said they were just happened upon, you know?
Oh,
because they're probably like, we didn't happen upon it. Have you seen how we break this cave down? Like I saw a picture of one of the excavators in the cave.
Well, yeah, but that's the same kind of meticulous action that all archaeologists take.
Yeah.
You know, not everybody's fucking Indiana Jones. In fact, 99.9% of them are not.
God, Indiana Jones was cool.
Yeah.
Now you got me thinking about Indiana Jones.
But anyway.
So that's my cave lady story. That's my cave broad.
It was a good cave broad story. Just smack her on the bone fragment.
On the cave butt.
Okay, on the cave
on the
butt.
bone fragment. I like bone fragment better.
Okay. I'm glad because yours is still a little on the
Yikes.
So, following up with some science news, and I guess, I mean, it's taking place in space, so I guess we could have to call it Space News, which we haven't done in a little while.
Yeah, we haven't done space news in a while. I'm glad to see it back.
Yeah, me too. I like saying it like that.
Yeah. It sounds fun. Maybe I can do it someday.
No.
Okay, that's fair.
This is a me thing.
All right.
You're not allowed to do it.
What do I get to do then?
I don't know. Come up with your own thing. God, would I have to do everything for you, Brandon?
Damn, all right then.
So this...
Come up with space news. It's better space news.
This comes from Business Insider. There was a lot of reports about it. This one particular article I pulled from Business Insider. So this is not a new concept, but we are finding out more information about the concept. A recent study seems to suggest that not only is there water on the moon, which is, again, this is an idea that has been around for a while.
Yeah.
That there's water on the moon.
Really?
Not liquid water, but frozen water. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah, it's a concept that's been around for a while. Spacecraft like the LRO, the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter, and India's L-Cross, which is the Lunar Crater Observation and Sensing Satellite, which smashed into one of the craters and tossed up dirt to see what was there. They had found traces of frozen water.
Oh, okay.
Of course, this has larger implications that if there is water on the moon, then the moon could be a natural satellite that we could potentially utilize for launching further into space.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can create rocket fuel out of breaking the hydrogen and oxygen atoms
To create rocket fuel?
to create rocket fuel. Hydrogen gas
Okay.
as a propellant.
Wow. All right.
Yeah. And oxygen is even quite volatile when exposed to a flame as well. So
That's crazy.
yeah. So again, this idea had been around for a while, but a new study suggests that there may be a whole lot more than we thought. The idea is that as asteroids bombard the moon over, millions of years, that's why it is pitted and cratered as it is, that these asteroids would have contained some sort of liquid water on them sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Of course, they are going to create craters, and these craters, some of them are deep enough that they have never seen sunlight. So the problem with the moon having a very next to nil atmosphere is that it is susceptible to the solar radiation, which means that if you did have liquid ice, or if you did have ice on the surface and it was exposed to sunlight, it would quickly sublimate.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
So that is the sticky in the wicket, as it were.
All right.
The new study suggests that we should really start. Basically, it's saying we really need to get into seeing what the moon has that we can utilize for further space travel. The problem that some of the scientists in this article suggest is that because of this almost instantaneous sublimation of ice once it's disturbed, like even if it's disturbed, it can sublimate.
I'm with you.
So it's kind of this, when we're talking about the cold inside of these craters, most of the water ice on the moon lies in the shadows of craters near the poles, where the warmest temperatures never reach above negative 250 degrees Fahrenheit. Like I said, in recent decades, they had sent the LRO and the L-Cross up. They had found water, they found mercury, all kinds of cool things, and more than usual. But it didn't figure out how close to the surface water might be, which is why the new study by researchers in the University of Hawaii, Brown University, and NASA's Ames Research Center is considered a big step forward. The paper hints that about 3.5% of lunar cold traps have ice exposed at the surface, perhaps as a frost. The downside is that there's no estimation of how deep and wide these easy-to-access ice deposits go. Leslie Gersh, a geological and mining engineer at the Missouri University of Science and Technology, said that when people think of the tip of an iceberg, they think it's much bigger underneath. That might not be the case here. She says it could be the tip of an iceberg, but we're talking about frost. It could be a very, very small iceberg. Several of the scientists in this article agree that they need what you would call ground truth, where they suggest sending a little rover down, or better yet, a few, to poke into some of these partially and permanently shadowed regions. Gersh continued saying, we actually need to go there and drill down to see how far and how wide these deposits go. So, of course, the problem is, as I stated before, if you dig into it, it may sublimate. You're going to lose a lot of it in this process.
Gotcha.
So Leslie continues on saying, digging and carrying ice to some processor may not be the best. Nobody is really thinking about that because you'd lose a lot of it, and they should be. During a June meeting at the Colorado School of Mines, which is a really cool school, I guess, to go to.
The Colorado School of Mines?
The School of Mines.
It's better than the Colorado School of Mimes.
Yeah, it is. Nobody talks about that one.
Yeah, it's unspeakable.
Several researchers met to brainstorm methods of mining the moon. Abud Madrid, one of the scientists involved in this, discussed using three solar reflectors, basically giant mirrors, to extract lunar surface ice with hardly any digging at all. He said, you redirect the energy to the surface inside of tents. It will hit the ice and sublimate it inside of the tent to which you could collect it. From there, the surface of that's a misspelling of tents. Looks like word correct got the better part of this guy. From there, the surface of the tents would act as cold traps, collect the water vapor, and then move it into a processing plant. The processing plant would use electricity to split the water into hydrogen and oxygen, separate the gases, and store them as liquids. By doing that, Abud Madrid said, you will have the hydrogen and the oxygen prepared for a rocket that can land there. But he added the extra fuel could even be stored in tanks and lifted into orbit around the moon. You start making gas stations in space. This really starts cutting your dependence on bringing all that fuel from Earth, he said. That's really what's been holding us back from deep space exploration.
Is just the amount of energy you have to have, right, to push something out of our atmosphere.
Yes, exactly. But no mineral deposit is 100% guaranteed. Even on Earth, humanity's record for starting a productive and long-lasting mining operation is poor. For every successful prospect, Gersh says, there are between 500 and 10,000 failures. We have different techniques today and can make use of better information, she said, adding that today's advanced electronics are better than prospecting on horseback with a pickaxe. Seems a little on the nose, but it's still not easy. The 239,000-mile distance to the moon, the vacuum of space, and high radiation levels only raise the stakes. Many researchers see asteroids or comets as another option for mining, but they're much farther away and move around. So, Aboud Madrid said mining the moon makes a lot more sense if it has accessible water deposits. The moon is close. It's right there, he said. You could even mine it via remote control, which is also true. Everything could be done remotely, especially with simple speed of light communications if you can get a beam of light into those places. Again, like I said, there's always spots that are not shown to the sun, but that doesn't mean those spots aren't shown to the Earth.
Mm-hmm.
So you could theoretically shoot a beam of light into and out of those places.
Well, I read that they've put mirrors on the moon already.
Yes.
That they use to bounce back and forth. Or wasn't that a story that we did? Or did I just read that independently?
I think
that they have mirrors on the moon that they use to measure the exact distance of the moon.
We've discussed that before. There are also amateur astronomers who utilize those mirrors as well to pick out the spots on the moon.
Okay. Yeah, because the moon is getting further away from us every year by like 0.3 centimeters or something super tiny.
Yeah. So, I mean, eventually, after probably a few 100,000 more years, the moon will slip free from Earth's gravitational pull and get slung out into the solar system.
Yeah. It'll just all at once. I mean, that's how it would have to happen, right?
No.
It would be pulling further and further away, and then just all at once it loses its gravitational pull on Earth and goes wherever it goes.
Yeah.
There would have to be a breaking point where it breaks away from Earth and goes off on its own.
Yeah, sure it would. Yeah. Depending on, I mean, there are a lot of factors that go into that as well, though. For instance, there are asteroids that are circling around our solar system and circling around our sun that, can potentially get very close to Earth. There have been some recently that have passed between the Earth and the moon. If one of those were to collide with the moon, it could actually cause the trajectory to get a little closer to the Earth.
Yeah.
Which would in turn change tidal responses. And of course, the further away it gets, the more we lose tidal response as well. The interconnectivity of it all is very amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. So yeah, that was one of my pieces of space news. What do you think?
They think they've got permafrost on the moon.
Yes. And they think that there might be more there than initially speculated.
Okay.
And that would be a good thing when it comes to inner solar system travel for us, for further exploration to Mars, things of that nature.
Yeah. I think it's an interesting story. I mean, the moon is what? I know we've had this discussion more than once, and I can never remember. How far away is the moon?
239,000 miles.
I mean,
kilometers.
In days, does it take like 2 days to get there? I think it's just a couple of days.
239,000 miles. About 3 days.
About 3 days, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, that's about 240,000 miles or 386,400 kilometers. So yeah, I thought it was a really exciting story. I've always been a big fan of the idea. Like, I want to see us get to a point in our lifetime where we actually have some sort of a mining operation that is not on this planet. That's always something that I have hoped to see within my lifetime.
I think you'll see it in our lifetime.
I'm really hoping so. I mean, I'm 34 now, so
yeah,
I'm halfway done with my life. I don't plan to live past 70. So
fair enough. I know from all of my time playing Alpha Centauri, Sid Meier's Alpha Centauri.
Yeah.
that it's not out of the realm of possibility to mine on the moon. You just need to terraform it first. You just need to hit T, and it terraforms. It takes like 3 rounds.
Yeah.
And then you're good to go. You can build a space colony there with the B button.
Yeah, there you go. See, that's all you need, NASA.
Come on, NASA. T's and B's.
T's and B's. Drop them T's and B's. Drop them T's and B's. Drop them, drop them, drop them, drop them, drop them T's and B's.
That was a good song, Remington.
Thank you.
And the world's a better place for that song.
Thank you.
Being in it.
I'm glad I could be of assistance.
Well, we have Space Force. Maybe Space Force can figure it out. Maybe they can go up to the moon and just start blasting shit with laser guns.
Yeah, that sounds...
Because Space Force is a dumb idea. I'm done with it. I'm done with Space Force.
I haven't been following it. I don't really know anything about it.
There's nothing more with Space Force outside of the fact that the Trump campaign proposed Space Force.
Yeah.
And now they are selling Space Force merchandise to fund his re-election campaign.
Ah, makes sense.
Yeah. Which you can't do. You're not allowed to do that. But the administration has done so many things that you can't do.
Yeah.
Already, that it's just adding to the list of like, hey, you're not allowed to propose. You proposed Space Force specifically so you can now market Space Force merchandise.
You can't, whatever.
Yeah, okay. Just add it to the list of stuff you can't do, like, being a traitor to the United States of America.
Right, let's move on to a different story.
I've got a NASA story, Remington.
Okay, go for it.
A lady named Naomi H.
Naomi H.
A beautiful lady, I assume, named Naomi H. got a job at NASA as an intern.
Okay.
She tweeted very excitedly, "Everyone shut the fuck up. I got accepted for a NASA internship."
To which was promptly canceled, I'm sure.
This drew the attention of a man named Homer Hickman, who replied back and said one word: language. She replied to him and said, "Suck my dick and balls. I'm working at NASA." To which he then replied, "And I am on the National Space Council that oversees NASA." She lost the internship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see, kids, this is where respect gets you.
Apparently in a blog post, Homer said, "I have no control over the hiring and firing," because after she was fired, her friends on Twitter went after him on his Twitter and were like, "Why'd you do that? You suck, blah, blah, blah."
Yeah.
And he said, "I have no control over hiring and firing. I am a senior member of the board. I oversee, he's basically like, he's a board member. He oversees board member stuff.
Yeah.
I'm going to show my ignorance here and say I don't know exactly what a board member does."
Right, sure, okay.
So board member things.
Yeah, he's a board member.
Yeah.
He's a board member.
He recognizes boards. I don't know.
He knows what a board looks like.
Apparently, the reason she was fired is because after she tweeted this, her friends were hashtagging NASA in celebration, which caught the attention of the NASA Twitter, who was like, somebody's hashtagging NASA a bunch. I wonder what it's about.
Yeah.
And then saw her telling one of the senior council members to suck her dick and balls.
Yeah. Yeah. Guys, the internet is not a good place to do that shit.
The internet is forever.
It is. That Naomi H?
Naomi H, yes.
Naomi H, you're a dumbass, and your friends are dumbasses. And NASA, good on you for not continuing her internship. Oh my God.
There's a lot of stuff here.
No, there isn't.
There is a lot of stuff here because
Tell me why there's a lot of stuff here, and I'll tell you why you're wrong.
She is clearly intelligent if she got an internship at NASA.
Clearly intelligent. She's book smart, obviously.
Just saying, "Everyone shut the fuck up. I got accepted for a NASA internship," I don't think that would have got her fired.
I don't think so either. I think that it was a little uncouth. I think that, what was his name?
Homer Hickman.
Homer Hickman was within his right to at least politely say language. Mm-hmm. Because, after all, you're still representing NASA, As
soon as they say you are hired as an intern or you get this internship, you are now representing NASA.
Yeah. And there is a certain amount of professional candor that you need to adopt. And just because the world is a lot more okay with the word fuck doesn't mean that you say it in that venue.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I should know from my extended period of time working at NASA.
Exactly.
They're okay with a lot.
Yeah.
They've never had a problem with anything anybody has ever said on this podcast.
Right.
NASA's okay with all that.
Yeah, exactly. But that's because we don't just straight up hashtag NASA in it.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, we do, but
yeah, well,
nobody
we
pays
at
attention
NASA
to it.
constantly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think when it went off the rails is when she said, suck my dick and balls. Although the phrase, suck my dick and balls, I'm working at NASA, is pretty great.
It's an awesome phrase.
It's a good phrase.
First of all, if you're going to say that to somebody, know who you're saying it to.
And his response is and I'm on the National Space Council that oversees NASA.
Yeah.
When you see that, your heart has to drop,
Oh,
right?
yeah, for sure. If it doesn't, then
you're even dumber than you seem.
Yeah, you're even dumber than you seem, for sure. That's like continuing to argue even though you know you're wrong.
Yeah, which a lot of people do.
They do. Just own up to it. If you're wrong, you're wrong. Well, I was wrong. Oh, God. That's a good story, Brandon.
Yeah, that one jumped out at me when I heard it.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. I like that. So I'd like to slide into some technology news.
Okay.
If you don't mind.
Yeah, go right ahead.
So Intel, as far as it goes, has not been doing well, sort of. When it comes to, like we talked about earlier, I had recently purchased some AMD stock.
Mm-hmm.
And by some, I mean one.
Yes.
AMD continues to grow as far as the stock market goes, and Intel has been kind of falling short. So they have been kind of losing stock, which means the overall view is that, maybe there's a little bit of consumer confidence that's being lost with Intel. Now, that being said, I have an i5 in my computer. That is what I purchased for my new computer. Before that, I was running an AMD chip. I do like AMD, and that's one of the reasons why I bought the stock in it, also because it was cheaper than Intel at the time.
Oh, I'm sure.
And that was really the only reason.
You would have gone Intel otherwise?
No, I probably would have done both, to be honest. In fact, if Intel keeps going down, I will probably buy stock in Intel as well.
So you can have one stock in AMD and one stock in Intel?
Yep.
Nice. Pit them against each other like brothers.
Exactly. And, that's the kind of thing, at least from a market standpoint, anybody who knows anything about these things, there's a year or two that AMD will be on an upswing, and then there's a year or two that it'll go on a downswing, and Intel will come back in on the upswing. Mm-hmm. That's just how this works.
Sure.
So you'll almost always see increases over time, but they're going to go in waves like that. That's just how they do. So Intel has a wide variety of 8th generation laptop processors targeting performance and gaming, but their new chips they have been working on for very thin machines have been focusing on an ultra portable experience, and they are going to be integrating gigabit Wi-Fi into the chipsets.
They're going to be putting Wi-Fi straight into the chips? Like into the processor?
This is from Engadget. For one, they all feature integrated gigabit Wi-Fi, which will vastly improve your networking performance on modern AC routers. There's also a quad-core audio DSP, which will make it easier for laptops to recognize voice commands for multiple virtual assistants. Even better, it lets you shout commands while your computer is asleep. So
that'll be fun.
They have a little...
Computer! Is Nathan Lane gay?
Yes, exactly. So they have a little infographic here. This is the Whiskey Lake -U 4+2. Architecting for mobility and connectivity. Amazing performance in 15-watt envelope up to 4 cores. Gigabit Wi-Fi via integrated Intel wireless AC 160 megahertz A. I don't know what the superscript A is. Integrated USB 3.1, improved voice services via dedicated quad-core audio DSP, more systems with better battery life. Oh, the A is a little addendum. Wireless AC 160 megahertz, and then the A they note down at the bottom. Network requires a wireless router access point that supports 160 megahertz channels. So that would be what a USB, or I mean, well, I guess it would be both 2.5 and 5 gigahertz, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Innovative form factors. They're talking about all sorts of little chips inside of this chip that will improve the mobility access of these chips. So the new 8th gen Intel Core Performance mobile processors, just as there is the U series, and then they will be releasing the new Y series. So the Y series i7-8500Y will have a base clock speed of 1.5 gigahertz, a max processor frequency of 4.2 gigahertz, thermal design power of 5 versus the U series 15, 2 cores, 4 threads, whereas the U series can have up to 4 cores and 8 threads, a 4 max cache size, 4 megabyte cache size, where the max on the U series is 8. And then memory supports DDR3 1866 megahertz, whereas the U series can go up to 2133 or 2400 of DDR4. So, did you follow all of that? I know that was a lot of numbers, but you are at least a little more tuned into the computer lands.
Mm-hmm.
So, you understand, hopefully, what all I was saying.
Yeah, I gotcha.
So,
with my current job at Japanese NASA.
Yeah.
I work on and repair computers a lot.
Yeah, exactly. So, what do you think of that? Do you think that this will have a positive impact on Intel? Do you think that this is more like a niche market thing, or do you think they're going to be pushing for more mobile platforms? They already have a lot. Over the past 3 or 4 years, they've really been pushing mobile platforms.
Yeah,
Windows 10 itself is
built for mobile.
Is built for mobile.
Much.
Yeah.
I know one of the most popular computers right now, at least that I see come through, is the Surface Pro.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. So tell me a little bit about the Surface Pro.
I don't know the specs or anything.
Right,
it's like a tablet computer combo.
Okay, so does it have a keyboard along with it?
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, and you can fold it backwards, or you can pop the keyboard off and use it. But it runs, it's like i7 processor. It is a nice computer.
Gotcha.
You can get them a little bit cheaper, but for the most part, I've never seen them below i5s.
Yeah.
And they kind of scream whenever you use them. I mean, they run fast.
Gotcha.
They're expensive, though.
Really?
That's the downside. And that's all I could think when you're reading off the specs for this 8th gen Intel Core is expensive. This is going to be expensive.
I mean, you think so? The stats themselves are not stacking up. So let's go back and take a look. The U series versus the Y series. The i7-8565U and the i7-8500Y. Base clock speed on the U is 1.8 gigahertz and 1.5 for the Y. The max processor frequency is 4.6 gigahertz for the U and 4.2 for the Y. The thermal design power is 15 for the U and 5 for the Y. Core threads is 4 cores, 8 threads for the U, and 2 cores, 4 threads for the Y. An 8 megabyte cache size for the U and a 4 megabyte cache size for the Y. And then only DDR3 support on the Y series with
weird.
Yeah, with DDR3 and DDR4 being supported for the U series.
So maybe they're trying to make the Y series more affordable then? Or maybe
I feel
because of the Wi-Fi and the things, the extras that they're adding on is kind of the trade-off.
I feel like that's kind of what they're going for. I think they're just trying to hit a different kind of market where it's less, hitting those people that it's less about the computing power, how hot you can make that sucker, and more about having the improved Wi-Fi, having the improved battery life, because it's not as powerful. Sort of.
Yeah.
The base clock speed and the processor frequencies are both pretty close to each other. 1.8 versus 1.5, that's a 0.3 difference. 4.6 versus 4.2, that's a 0.4 difference. The thermal design power is substantially different. I'm not 100% sure what thermal design power is. I would assume that that's just how cool you would want to keep it, or how it's not as versatile when it comes to getting hot.
Thermal design power?
Yeah.
Maximum amount of heat generated by a computer chip or component that the cooling system in a computer is designed to dissipate under any workload. So the thermal design power is the maximum amount of heat that it creates.
That it creates or that it dissipates?
That it creates. That a cooling system would then dissipate.
Okay. So it's considerably less hot, which
makes sense.
Makes sense, but also indicates to me that it's less powerful, but it also has half the cores and half the threads. 4 cores, 8 threads versus 2 cores, 4 threads. So it's obviously going to create less heat because it doesn't have as many cores to heat up.
Yeah.
But you have all those other components in there, like the Wi-Fi and the audio and all of that. Of course, the audio DSP is going to be like if you're running Cortana and Alexa at the same time, it's going to be optimized for connectivity, is how they're billing it. So it's going to be less about the power of it and more about the versatility.
Yeah.
And I think that's definitely going to scratch a certain market, but if the overall performance gets sluggish, it could be a falling out.
Well, I can tell you that Intel doesn't carry as much weight. The name Intel doesn't carry as much weight anymore than it used to. Because I've worked in fields working on computers for quite a while now.
Yeah.
And Intel used to be like, I want that i3, I want that i5, no matter what. I get a lot more people now asking me about AMD processors than I do about Intel processors.
Yeah.
Occasionally I'll get somebody who's like, I want an i5, I want an i7.
Yeah.
But AMD's really picking it up as far as name recognition goes.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, the stocks are telling us that as well. It's interesting that because I thought I wanted to maybe stay with AMD when I was building my new PC, but I kind of, the i5s had been proving to be fairly good CPUs.
Yeah.
And I didn't really have the money for an i7.
Yeah, there's a pretty considerable jump in price, isn't there?
Yeah. It was just too much for me to justify at the time. I could upgrade to an i7 on this motherboard if I wanted to, which would be swell. But I'm doing pretty well with the i5 right now. It's interesting because for close to 10 years, I've run an AMD chip.
Yeah,
and not multiple chips, one chip. And I have put that motherfucker through its paces.
Oh yeah, that thing I remember towards the end, how hot it was running all the time.
Yeah, I replaced the thermal paste and it did not help. I mean, it thermal throttled, but it kept chugging. Very rarely did I ever get that. And it was in some hot situations.
Yeah.
Like, very rarely did that thing ever, like, straight up quit on me.
Oh, God. That makes me think, this is off topic a little bit. The first con that we did.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
And we set up your computer to record and it just wouldn't turn on.
Yeah.
We were going to live stream the whole thing or try to.
Yeah.
We were all set up, super nervous, and then just, boo, computer wouldn't turn on.
Yeah. And that turned out to be, there was a slight short in the power unit in that PC that if you push the power button on the power unit, the toggle switch, if you pushed it too far, it would lose connection. That's what it was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, after that happened, where I was losing my shit because the computer wouldn't turn on, and then I found out that that's what it was, I very quickly committed that to memory. That way, every time it happened, whenever I had to move my computer for whatever reason or another, I would know to not quite push it in all the way so it could get a connection. I think it'll be interesting to see how these new processors go. I don't think that it's going to be enough to improve the market value of Intel unless they release the new iPad, the iPad killer.
Yeah.
Something that is really impressive.
Yeah, Intel seems to kind of sit back and I view Intel as like a mega corporation.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Just putting out these chips. You know what I mean? Like just a big factory that they're mass producing these things and
Right.
Not creating a lot of different stuff.
Yeah.
Just creating these chips.
Yeah.
Like the brains of everything that's running around.
Right, yeah. That's all a CPU is, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
So yeah, I don't know. I'm interested to see how these new chips are going to perform in IRL, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah.
All right,
Oh,
give me something
God.
else. What?
I just see the stories you have pulled up there.
Oh yeah,
Starbucks pumpkin spice latte is back.
I just wanted to read that. I didn't know if it was something I wanted to talk about.
The Starbucks pumpkin spice latte is back to mess with your brain.
Yeah.
People hating on pumpkin spice are just as obnoxious as the people who talk about loving pumpkin spice.
Yeah.
Pumpkin spice in all forms, I'm just like, don't care.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
sorry to step on your story. It's
No.
probably not that exciting.
No, it's probably not.
Are you a pumpkin spice guy?
I enjoy it, but I'm not crazy about it.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm the same way. I'll take, if somebody's like, hey, you want some pumpkin spice coffee?
I'll be
Yeah,
like, oh,
sure.
yeah,
I'll
that's cool.
take it.
Yeah,
Delicious.
I'm down
Yeah.
for that. Yeah, it's good. Yeah,
I like
didn't
pumpkin
upgrade.
pie a lot.
Yeah, for sure. I'm down for pumpkin pie. It's one of my favorite things about Thanksgiving is pumpkin pie.
Speaking of a gourd, Remington.
I mean, I'm not going to leave most of that in. So, yeah.
You like gourds, Remington?
I will leave that in because, yeah, Brandon, I'm
I think
pretty
you should
partial
leave
to
in the
gourds.
pumpkin spice talk. Pumpkin spice chatter
Well, I mean, I'm going to leave it in, but I was going to put it at the end.
with Brandon and Rem.
Yeah,
It's fitness and
because it
pumpkin
was just
spice.
a little awkward.
The only thing I want to fitness is fitness pumpkin spice latte in my mouth.
Just, do I like gourds? Yeah.
Alec Baldwin is set to play Thomas Wayne in the new Joker movie.
Do we want to figure out a different delivery for this?
No, I think it's perfect. Do you like Alec Baldwin, Remington?
I mean, he has some moments for sure. Yeah.
He's been cast. Shit. He's been cast to play Thomas Wayne in the new Joker movie.
Okay, now this is the Joaquin Phoenix one?
Yes.
Okay. Weird. I don't know how I feel about that.
I kind of got sick of Alec Baldwin.
Did you? Why?
Yeah. From 30 Rock.
30 Rock, yeah.
He just, anytime they have a guy, Alec Baldwin plays like an exaggerated version of himself.
Yeah.
So Alec Baldwin is kind of like the character he plays in 30 Rock. That's where the humor derives from, is that's sort of who he is.
Yeah.
Pushed to the extreme.
Right, right.
And I kind of got sick of him playing that same character.
Yeah.
That same like suit and tie, everyman kind of, I'm super cool.
Right.
I don't know. I don't
I know
dislike
what you're
Alec
saying,
Baldwin.
yeah.
It's the same thing with his Donald Trump impression. I think it was just overdone.
Yeah.
We saw it too much.
Yeah.
Thomas Wayne previously was described for this movie where they were casting Thomas Wayne.
Uh-huh.
So this is what he's going to be playing as a character.
Okay.
A cheesy, tanned, rich-looking 60-year-old man.
Like, why would they even bill it like that? Is this supposed to be a fucking comedy or something?
It's supposed to be a very dark story.
Like, Thomas Wayne was supposed to be the shining fucking beacon of Gotham.
Yeah.
That's always how it's been. I don't want to be that nerd, but I kind of feel like you have to be that nerd. Like, if there's one thing that is true about Batman, it's that his mother and father were, while being socialites, were very involved and empathetic to the citizens of Gotham, especially those who had less,
Yeah.
and weren't overly tan cheesy people.
Yeah. I mean, the only
And
thing
they die.
Yeah, that's the thing too, is he's in his 60s, so he hasn't died.
Yeah.
So that would put Bruce Wayne, I don't know. I mean, they're doing their own thing, so Bruce Wayne could not even have been born, or Bruce Wayne could be 10 if he's playing a 60-year-old man, you know? Or Bruce Wayne could be 30 and like living in his parents' basement.
I mean, that seems to indicate that his parents are not going to be killed.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something that we know?
No, they have. I mean, rumors haven't come out that his parents aren't going to be killed.
Huh.
I'm guessing this movie's going to focus on the Joker. Well,
Yeah.
obviously it is. It's the Joker movie.
Yeah.
But my guess is that it's going to focus on the Joker. Thomas Wayne is going to be in it. Maybe Joker kills them towards the end of the movie. I don't think Batman's going to have a presence in this movie. Or if he does, I think it's going to be at the very end.
Huh.
Now, I'm probably wrong because 90% of the time I'm wrong about these things.
I mean, they already said that this is not going to be a canon movie.
Yeah, this is its own thing.
And they have explored in the comics what if Batman's parents didn't die.
Yeah, well, and they've done Flashpoint before too,
Yeah.
where Thomas Wayne ends up becoming Batman because Bruce Wayne dies.
Yeah.
So they could do that Bruce Wayne was killed by the Joker or by somebody at some point. And so Bruce Wayne's dead, but Thomas Wayne's still alive.
But at that point, that means we'll have Alec Baldwin as Batman. if they follow that line of storytelling, which is even weirder to me than just him playing the Wayne progenitor.
To see Alec Baldwin as Batman?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd be very surprised if that's how they went with it.
Oh God, the more I think about it, the weirder it gets. I don't know how I feel about this, Brandon.
I think the Joker movie, I actually am starting to get high hopes for it, though.
Yeah?
Yeah. I've started to build up a little bit of excitement.
I'm
not even cautious optimism. I'm throwing myself in. I'm going to put it right now. I think the Joker movie is going to be great.
You think it's going to be great, or you think it's just going to be better than the other DC movies?
I think it's going to be great.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to hold up as far as like Batman Begins or any of those Batman movies. But I think it's going to come out and be considered better than, because people aren't expecting a whole lot from it right now.
Yeah.
It's still in that phase where everything I'm reading online, I got this story from geektyrant.com where I kind of harvest half of my stories every week from anyway.
Right, yeah.
The comment section there is filled with people saying like, this movie is weird and I don't know what to think.
Well, I'm right there in that camp with them.
Yeah.
It's definitely, I mean, the more that's coming out, this is definitely weird.
I think Robert De Niro's in it too.
Really?
I think he's cast as like a beat cop or something.
Getting a bunch of old guys to do this movie? What's happening here?
Come here, Joker.
I'm going to get you. Because Alec Baldwin is no spring chicken anymore either.
He's got to be in his 60s at this point. So he fits the bill.
Yeah.
But he looks good.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. De Niro is definitely showing his age.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Was it Robert De Niro? Let me double check real fast.
Okay.
Yeah, Robert De Niro. De Niro will play a reporter, not a beat cop.
Oh, okay. That's weird. Just a bunch of old guys running around in Batman costumes.
Yeah. That's what your view.
That's your
takeaway from that story. Just a bunch of old guys as Batman.
Yep.
Batman.
And shit, who was it that was playing Joker again?
Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah, Joaquin Phoenix. I don't know why. For some weird reason, and I have no idea why. I know that they're different, and I know that they do very different things and play very different parts. Javier Bardem and Joaquin Phoenix, I think it's just because their names are so interesting.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get them confused. Like, I immediately know that I'm getting them confused. And I'm like, no, that's not the guy that I'm trying to think of.
Yeah.
But for some reason.
That's an interesting mix-up.
Yeah. I don't know. Speaking of comic news, though, on a site called We Got This Covered, apparently Marvel drops a couple of bombshells about Wolverine. Logan will be sporting new threads with the second installment of the Return of Wolverine miniseries. And we get to see, in this article, they show a bit of cover art where Wolverine is it looks like he's diving off of a boat. His claws are extended, and he's kind of in the shadow of the sea as he's dropping into the boat, or dropping out of the boat. So he has kind of a blue hue to him, but it's a black suit with red. What would you call that? I'm not a seamstress. There is a terminology for that, and I can't for the life of me think of what it is at the moment.
I have no idea. It's almost like a Civil War jacket, the way the buttons are.
Yeah, it kind of feels almost like a Civil War jacket. But yeah, it's a black costume. It looks like maybe he almost has jeans on, almost. It looks cool. It's black and red.
Yeah.
Black with red accents. I mean, this is really kind of a non-story, but I just thought it was interesting that I always like it when they talk about Wolverine's outfits, because, I grew up with the iconic Batman shit.
You still got old Batman on
Yeah,
the
I've
brain.
got old Batman stuck in my brain. I grew up with the iconic yellow and blue, or yellowish, the dark blue Wolverine costume.
Yeah.
The X-Men Wolverine costume. Through comics and the television show especially.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, in the movies, they made a nod to the old suit when he got a new suit in the first X-Men movie.
Yeah, where he looks at it and like makes a joke or something.
Yeah, Cyclops is like, what are you expecting it to be, yellow and blue or something like that? And then, of course, in Logan, in the movie itself, it was, basic clothing.
Yeah.
There wasn't anything special about it.
He was dressed like Old Man Logan.
Yeah, Exactly. For some reason, I don't know why, I'm always attracted to those stories where they talk about Wolverine's new outfits. They're really non-stories,
It's a
but I
really
just
specific
find them
fetish.
interesting. I wouldn't call it a fetish. It's just, I don't know. I get tickled by it, and I don't know why. I have no
Tickled
explanation.
sexually.
No, there's nothing sexual about it, Brandon. Not everything is sexual.
Do you want to hear my story? It's sexual.
Yeah, please. I love sexual stories.
Okay, I'm just going to read the notes that I have, and I'm not going to go into this story any more than these notes, okay?
Okay.
Horny dolphin named Zafar scares tourists in the Bay of Brest. Described as, quote, visually aroused. Mare bans swimming. It's a 100% true story, Remington.
A horny dolphin in the Bay of Brest named Jafar.
Zafar with a Z.
Zafar. Good job, Mayor.
Yeah. There is a French. This is in France.
Okay.
There's a French lawyer who's trying to sue the mayor for banning swimming while the dolphin is there. The dolphin has already thrown a woman up into the air.
It's a safety issue.
Yeah.
Like, this lawyer needs to get a life. French mayor, you are doing the exact right thing.
You're doing French God's work.
You're doing French. Just picture Jesus with no beard, you know?
Yeah, the pencil thin mustache.
Just the pencil thin mustache and a cigarette.
Smoking a cigar. Laissez-faire.
No, it's a cigarette. It's a real long, thin cigarette.
Yeah.
That's the French cigarette.
Yeah, I was thinking cigar was wrong.
Yeah, a cigar would be...
That's an American. That's like General Patton.
Yeah, exactly. Although Patton smoked a pipe.
Really? I'm picturing him like chomping on a big-ass cigar.
No, that would be Churchill.
Okay. I don't know anything about this stuff then, I guess.
Yeah, you're doing French God's work. Oh, that's dumb. I think we'll just leave that story at that.
Yeah, I think that's about all you need to know.
That's all you need to do.
You can
everybody. Google
Google Zafar if you want to learn more about this horny dolphin.
Yeah. Dolphins need loving too.
Mm-hmm.
There's a shirt idea.
Dolphins need loving too?
Yeah, and just you can draw out a horny dolphin.
I have a binders full of drawings of horny dolphins.
See, we need to get this shit on lock.
Yeah, I'll have to pick. It'll be hard to.
Yeah,
it's like choosing one of your children.
Brandon, this is what our life has become.
Trying to peddle horny dolphin shirts to people who've statistically bought one or two of our shirts already.
Absolutely. Facebook is committed to using 100% renewable power for global operations by 2020. I have seen a couple of stories that said 2021, but most of them say 2020. Earlier today, Facebook said that it is committed to reducing its greenhouse gas emissions by 75% and using 100% renewable energy to power global operations as the social networking giant by the end of 2020. So while the company may have problems keeping foreign nationals from using their platform to influence operations or garbage influencers from engaging in influential operations, at least they'll be doing it with less of an effect on climate change.
Getting a little bit political there, website.
I know, right? What is this website? This is TechCrunch. So, I mean, everybody's got a political opinion, so they sneak it in whenever they can.
Well, but I mean, there is evidence of...
there's evidence of
people...
My balls on Facebook too, so...
Is there really?
Probably. Facebook gave itself a well-deserved pat on the back for its pace of acquiring renewable energy. The company bought over 3 gigawatts of new solar and wind energy since its first renewable energy purchase in 2013. That includes 2.5 gigawatts in the past 12 months alone. So from 2013 to 2017-ish, they had only done 0.5% is basically what this article is saying.
Wow.
And they have apparently ramped it up tremendously over the past year. At least that's how I'm reading it. A rate of acquisition that makes the intervening years look, well, kind of paltry. What's especially good about the Facebook renewable purchases is that they are not just offset agreements, deals where a company buys renewable energy in some far-flung geography to offset the power they're buying in local markets that relies on traditional carbon-based fuel sources. So what that sentence said, if you didn't quite follow it, is They're not doing it just in outlying areas. They're doing it in even major sections of their structure.
Okay. Well, good on Facebook for that.
Yeah. The company said all of these wind and solar projects are new and on the same grid as our data centers. That means that each of these projects bring jobs, investment, and a healthier environment to the communities that host us, from Prineville, Oregon, and Los Lunas, New Mexico, to Henrico, Virginia, and Luleå, Sweden. I have no idea if that's how you say it. Sorry, Swedish listeners. For Facebook, the announcement is something of a victory lap. Back in 2015, the company set a goal of having 50% of its power supplied to facilities from renewable energy sources by 2018. They actually hit that target in 2017.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So good on you, Facebook. Thank you very much for using as much solar, wind, and alternative energies as you can.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of wind.
Of wind?
I love breezes, but I hate wind.
Yeah.
No, the wind power thing.
Why not?
Like, I do... The argument of the killing of birds is an actual and very real argument. We absolutely... I like wind power, but the turbines, I think...
Kill a lot of birds?
I would like to... Well, not just kill a lot of birds, but they can be really dangerous. Most of them are not. But, like, there was the story where actually, I think there's an actual video where...
Of two people getting stranded on it?
Yeah, as it catches fire. And yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that it happens all the time. It doesn't. But that's a real possibility that can happen, which can happen anywhere. I guess that's not a very good argument. I'm not positing that as an argument, is what I'm saying.
Okay, you're just throwing that out there.
I'm just throwing out there
Unrelated.
that I think that there are better ways to capture wind if we try than these massive turbines. I think that's what I'm more driving toward.
Okay.
Yeah. I think putting smaller turbines on maybe balloons of some kind that go above major flight paths for birds and would probably capture more air, and then sending it down like zeppelins,
Oh, okay.
Zeppelins that are outfitted with smaller wind turbines.
And have like batteries built in, and
it would send it to... Well, they'd be tethered, so you'd have the power tethered to the Earth.
I'm all for having more Zeppelins in the sky.
Yeah, right?
That would be badass.
And that's just an off the top of my head idea. Like, I know there are a lot of logistics to be considered in that. But
there's an engineer right now working on a new wind turbine who's like, you motherfucker, you think it's so easy.
Right? No, I don't think it's easy, engineer, but I would be down to shoot my Zeppelin idea off of you. We can make this work.
Yeah. We
can be the new air wizards.
If only we could harness the death of all those birds as a sort of energy.
Yeah. We could call it necrotic energy.
The new Tesla, powered entirely by necrotic energy. Yeah, it's great. I just got to stuff a bird in there every couple of days.
Yeah, we call it deathtons. It's kind of like protons, only the opposite.
I get rid of all the stray cats in the shelter. It's easy.
Oh, no, Brandon. Thank God Ginger wasn't around to hear you say that.
Yeah, I know.
One. God.
Don't edit this where she hears that part.
Don't worry. I edit up here in the cave now.
Yeah.
I think that's going to go ahead and wrap us up for this week. We still have tons of stories to go, but I think we're going to call it. It's getting hot in here.
Yes, it is.
Do you have any last words, Brandon?
I do not.
So if you have any questions or comments you'd like to hear yourself on air, you can call us at 978-DU-OGRES. That's 978-386-4737. You can also reach us on Twitter at Dueling Ogres. Email us at duelingogres@gmail.com or leave a comment on the Facebook page like these nice people. Brandon, go.
We got quite a bit of comments on this last episode, actually.
We did. So I had talked about the podcast in the Discord group for the streamers again. I've mentioned it a few times in there, and occasionally I'd get some people interested. But this time I had a lot of people who were like, oh, you do a podcast? And I was like, yeah. I was like, that's what I market my whole shit about.
Yeah.
So Slev, which is Steve. There,
okay.
He actually made a lot of comments. He seemed to really enjoy the episodes. I love Slev to death. He's one of those guys that you can just make laugh.
Oh,
And
okay.
his laugh is just wonderful. And he takes a ribbon and keeps on ticking. He's awesome. I love him so much.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'll start with his comments then.
Okay.
He said, I lost it when you guys mentioned the Anus dribblings. I definitely have to agree with companies wanting to protect their property, but should be eager to want to work with people such as bars advertising their stuff. Rick and Morty was a great example of that, but of course, get permission, dumbasses, LOL. Can't wait for the next podcast for sure. Dueling Ogres, ! He also said, I forgot to mention about the Star Wars Star Trek debate on what is better. I would love to hear a duel between the two. I'm a big fan of Star Wars franchise, never got into the Star Trek franchise, much because I didn't enjoy it until the newer movies, just my opinion on it. That's because, Slev, Star Trek is fucking boring. Let's talk about space politics for 37 episodes. Bucky commented and said, Brandon, don't worry, my face is also terrified. # bluntly.
Bluntly. Yep. You're beautiful.
Nega Larry commented and said, SG-1 was good. I enjoyed the characters on Atlantis more, and Stargate Universe was boring.
Yeah.
Viscount Terry W. Irvin II replied back and said, I never bothered trying Stargate Universe. It didn't even look interesting. After you said this, glad I didn't. Nega Larry replies back and said, I had hoped for Lou Diamond Phillips, but 2 episodes were enough to turn me off.
Yep.
Viscount Terry W. Irvin II also commented and said, I would say that Stargate SG-1 was more than a good show, but I agree with Remington that Stargate Atlantis wasn't a good, I'm guessing he was going to put show.
Right.
I easily imagine Brandon's expression when Remington suggested the inkwell for signing the diaper. You imagine it correctly, I'm sure. It was horrific. If you're not sure, go back and listen to last week's episode.
See, there's another great shirt idea, Brandon.
No, it's not.
Look. Okay, just a little inkwell, and we'll put it on a brown shirt, and it'll just be an outline of inkwell, and it'll say "Bootyful Ink."
That's not bad.
Yeah, I've got an inkwell that you can do this sketch out. We can get this done tonight. Also, popping over to YouTube, Blutonian said, but it's Nintendo, and a lot of their old games they release digital versions of on almost every console they release. So I see them not wanting the games they still sell being free online, but I don't see why the games they don't remake we can't have on our interwebs.
Yeah, exactly.
The way that you phrased that, Blue, was awkward for me to read.
Yeah, exactly. If you're releasing games on the NES Classic, that's one thing. But there's games that aren't being released that they still wanted taken down.
And I mean, my argument is I think I mentioned it a little bit, at least in last week's podcast, is that just because they're available online as ROMs doesn't mean that people aren't buying these when they get these systems.
Yeah.
Like, people are buying them in droves. Brandon, you said yourself that you have purchased Pokemon Gold?
Pokemon Gold, Pokemon Crystal, Mega Man, Sonic the Hedgehog, and Mario.
On multiple systems.
Yes.
Yeah. So, just so you could have them on that system to play. So, it's... I understand where they're coming from. I don't think it's hurting them. I don't think that they're even saying that it's hurting them. I think they just don't want people to do it.
Yeah, they just want people to take it down.
Which I guess they're within their right, but fuck, come on.
Yeah.
Come on, Nintendo.
Come on, hey,
yeah,
Nintendo.
Come on.
Oh.
Nintendo. So thank you all for commenting. Very much appreciated. Thank you, Slev, for listening to your first inaugural episode about James Blunt's pooper.
I think it was a good episode last week.
Yeah, me too.
I think this one's good.
Yeah, I think this one's solid
They're
as well.
all good. Every episode's great.
Everything's wonderful. Everything's fine. Yes.
That's a disturbing face you're making.
Thank you. Make sure to subscribe on our website at duelingogres.com for new shows and articles pertaining to some of your favorite geek news or just the shows at the moment.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
We'll get there eventually.
If you have any inkling on writing your own articles, you can contact us at duelingogres@gmail.com, and we will hit you up and say, hey, you want to write an article for us? You want to write some nerdy stuff? Hey, we'll take it.
Yeah,
We'll be
take
down.
reviews or We had some of my favorite were whenever Mumphrey was writing walkthroughs where he was going to conventions.
Yeah, that was awesome.
I really enjoyed reading those.
Yeah. And finally, be sure to leave us a 5-star review and a written review over on iTunes. We haven't really pushed that one lately, but it does help to boost us higher on the cool kids list if you leave those reviews. As of right now, over on iTunes, we have 9 5-star ratings, which is very awesome and wonderful, and we appreciate every last one of you who did that for us. And we have 3 written reviews. One of them was Brandon.
Yes.
So drop some written reviews for iTunes if you're listening to us on your iPhone or your iPad or your other devices. You can also find us on YouTube, iHeartRadio, Spotify, TuneIn, and Google Play, whatever their Google Music shit is. You can find us there too. And anywhere else you can find a podcast.
Yep. We're everywhere.
I've been everywhere, man. I love that song. Every time somebody says that we are everywhere, I think of that song, and I love it.
See, I get everywhere to be. When I close my eyes, it's you I see.
You get that over. So until next week, Ogres,
I belong to you.
Keep your clubs blunt.
And your tusk sharp.
Good night. Wouldn't you think my collection's complete? Wouldn't you think that a girl who has everything, look at this trove, treasures untold, how many wonders can one cavern hold? It's like, when did Timon start singing?
Yeah. Cavern hold.
I can see what's happening, and they don't have a clue. They'll fall in love, and here's the bottom line. Our trio's down to 2.
Was that Timon, Nathan Lane?
Yes.
And Pumbaa was just kind of a rando guy, right?
Well, no, I think he was a fairly well-known voice actor or something like that, but I don't remember what his name was now.
And I get downhearted.
How does it feel?
Every time that I...
Oh, Pumbaa, not in front of the kids. Oh. Sorry. Hakuna Matata, what a wonderful phrase. Hakuna Matata. That's what I was looking for.
Listen to Hakuna Matata.
Yeah. We need a word.
Hakuna Matata. I have no idea how you spell Matata.
It's actually
M-A-T-A-T-A?
Yeah. It's very phonetic.
Hakuna Matata.
Hakuna Matata. All right. Do you have stories? Oh no.
I have this many stories.
Oh my god, you have a whole notebook full of stories.
Full of stories.
Did this become Bob's Burgers and you became Lynn, where you can just sing everything?
I just sing everything.
I didn't realize that was a male who does her voice too.
Yeah, I didn't realize until I saw a breakdown of it.
Yeah, I was like, oh shit, how about that?
And then I saw somebody in the comments who was like, oh, so you're casting men to do a woman's voice. I see how it is. Why not get more work for women's voice actors in Hollywood?
Yeah. And then somebody shot that person.
Well, apparently the person who does Linda's voice did that voice on YouTube, like for his mother, and that's where they found him from. He did like a YouTube thing with like, oh, I'm your mother. Here we go. Oh.
Ah, I see. I need to mute my phone.
I want to mute you from your phone to your phone, and I want to move from the bed down to the flow. Yeah, that's right, ladies.
I was going to say, I don't even know what in the fuck is happening right there.
Ladies.
Ladies.
Remington,
Yes.
I'm gonna break it down for you. I'm your fantasy. Fantasy.
Cool.
Cool beans.
Cool beans. That's really swell. You ready?
Yep.
All right.
What? I just saw Detective Pikachu will not feature Ash Ketchum.
What?
Apparently, William Shatner is releasing a Christmas album.
Yeah, old Bill is
It's gonna-
Bill got a little salty that he wasn't invited to Sulu's wedding too.
It's going to be called Shatner Claus.
That's a thing.
Some of the musical artists on the album include Henry Rollins, Brad Paisley, Iggy Pop, Mel Collins, and Judy Collins. Todd Rundgren.
Well, I mean, if
It'll be available on CD and vinyl. Iggy Pop is singing Silent Night.
Huh.
God, I want to hear Iggy Pop sing Silent Night.
Cause you're everywhere to me. That's really all of it that I remember.
When I close my eyes,
When I
it's
close
you
my
I
eyes.
see.
Yeah. You can go home now, Brandon.
Yep. I'm not going to listen to that in the car or anything.
In the targets that Facebook... Nah, I don't give a shit about that. If you have any questions or comments, nope, that's not what I want. Make sure to subscribe.
Sorry.
Okay.
I laugh and I fuck it up. I'm always fucking it up.
Make sure to...
Shut up.